Report. I know you couldn't wait for Friday just because it's the end of the work week for most people. But of course, because the Caribbean Report is on. Every Friday night, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on this station that you're watching, People TV. Oh, I can't forget the people on the website because we got people from all over now that's watching the show, Karen.
Definitely.
And a lot of them probably like, what in the world is People TV? So those of you who are watching us on the web, you know we air live, well, I'm informing you if you don't know, we air live on Friday nights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. at People TV Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a nonprofit station. And then by that next Tuesday, we will be online, barring any unforeseen circumstances, which rarely happens, of course. We will be on live that Tuesday. I'm just one of your hosts. I'm not the only host, but I'm Dedrick Henry, and I'm joined, of course, by the always lovely Karen Clarke. I'll let her say something before I go into a spin and take 20 minutes like I always do.
Happy Carnival. That's what I would like to say. Today is Friday kickoff for Carnival in Trinidad and Tobago and for most of the West Indian Islands, and also for the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. So just want to say thank you and welcome. You're going to have a fun evening here at the Caribbean Report. We have a lot of information to share with you. As you know, our main focus is to entertain you. We would like to inform you, and what we've been informing you lately is health. We have here this evening someone who will share with you his expertise on health, on preventative health care, and nutrition. So that's something that we're big on, especially for the New Year resolutions. And don't you have a New Year resolution about health and good food?
You know what? Actually, not to knock New Year's resolutions, but that's something I'm going to say I don't believe it. What I mean when I say I don't believe in, particularly on that day, when I'm ready to start something, whether it's September the 24th, whether it's December the 1st, then it kicks off then. Because the reason I say that, and like I said, not to contradict anything, but I see too many people that get hooked on that date per se, and then if something fails the following week, then then basically they have to wait till January the 1st of the next year before they start a resolution again. So my advice is, I mean, if January 1st is the best day for you, use it, but don't only use that day. If it doesn't work, remember, sometimes the learning process, failing is part of a learning process. If you fail once, just pick it right back up. You fail again, pick it back up the next time. Don't just get so stuck on that January 1st day. But I wasn't trying to steal, the New Year's resolution. But, I have to be true. I don't want to.
You know what? I'm going to interrupt you there. I guess that's another reason why we get along. I said that because it's more of a commercial thing. We are more prone, and you see the commercials, they're doing a lot of dietary changes at the beginning of the year. Everything yes, a big change at the new year. And I'll say about several years ago, I kind of made a New Year resolution in a sense that you don't have to wait for the new year to do something like that. And when you're ready and you're committed, that's when you should do.
Yeah, don't delay it.
And failure, that's true. You learn from your failures.
Definitely.
And just because, you kind of skimp a little, you always make room for a cheat day.
Of course.
Make room for a cheat day. So, you do well, 6 days a week, and do one day for a cheat day. That's what I say.
You should. And something else I just want to add up. Every day is not going to be the same.
Very true.
You're going to have real good days and medium days and bad days. So don't get down on days when you struggle. Whatever you're trying to do, whether it's a workout plan, whether it's a career change or what have you, you're going to have bad days, and some days things are going to flow like it's just the easiest thing in the world. But what I'm saying is, during the bad days, don't get discouraged and want to quit. Like you said, just contribute that almost to like a cheat day. Be like, okay, this day wasn't as well. I'll be back at it tomorrow.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do. And with that, what else would you like to share besides cheat days and nutrition and
something I wanted to add, because we just love to inform the viewer. But something I wanted to add, you mentioned the carnival going around, and I can tell you exactly which islands during this time of year that it's happening. Like you said, it's kicking off in Trinidad and Tobago, but also Dominica, Haiti, Aruba, Guadalupe, Martinique, Dominican Republic, French St. Martin, Bonaire, Guyana, and Those are the main ones. Well, not the main ones. Those are the ones that's kicking off during this February time frame.
Right.
Now, Carnival goes off throughout the year. Just like in Montserrat, the Christmas celebration is when the so-called carnival is going on, and like I said, Christmas celebration, so you know it's during Christmas. But that's just an example of how it varies throughout the year.
And I believe Jamaica has their carnival in April, is it?
I think so.
They have theirs in April. So every island, you know, they're traditionally a carnival years ago was celebrated by the French, how that started. And they would have their masquerade balls, and it was in the celebration of Harvest Fest, food, production. And the slaves weren't allowed to celebrate that. And what they did was they mocked their slave owners, and they dressed, and they mocked them, and they had their own dance and their own way of celebrating. And slowly it evolved, and it has changed. And Carnival has changed to the point where people might think it's becoming more commercial, which you have an article on that it's gotten more commercial. The clothing has changed a bit. Before, they had a lot more clothes on their bodies. Now they look more like
with everything.
Yes, now they look more like showgirls. But the king and queen costumes in the Caribbean, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. And it's like a fairy tale in many ways. There's still a lot of creativity, but I hope it doesn't lose it. I'm not downplaying New Orleans, but the throwing of the beads and the raising of the clothing, you know, for the women to expose their upper part of their body. I hope that Trinidad does not, or the other Caribbean islands does not follow suit.
Correct.
Okay. I hope that they still have that dignity and pride. Yes, some people say we gyrate too much, but that has been a part of our culture. And if you look at the Africans and see how Africans dance, Native Africans dance, they move their bodies in the very similar way. Caribbean people are rich with their African heritage and dance, and we emulate that. So please do not say, you know, that some people have said it looks like fornication, but it does not.
Right, and another important part that you brought out of that is the history of it. And I'm not sure how much we're going to get to cover today on that, because we have a full show for you. So please go to the website and go to any search engine or come to our site and just search for Caribbean Carnival. And then you will get a big history on it. Like I said, one of the articles we have is from Caribbean360.com. On our website, myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report. If you click on the link that says main news sources for the show, Caribbean360.com is there. If you go to that site, you will see articles. Actually, I have to correct myself. That's one of the sources for news sites, news items. But this one came from the BBC site, which is also listed under main news sources for the show. If you click on main news sources for the show, you will get the link to BBC Caribbean site. That's how it's listed on there, and you will be able to get more history on Carnival.
Correct.
And like I said, I mean, we would love to go on more, and as time goes, we will cover this more, because in Atlanta, it actually doesn't happen till Memorial Day weekend, so we have a lot of time ahead of us to get into the Carnival.
And the history of it.
And the history, right, definitely, that's the main thing I want to focus on, is the history of it, because with anything, the history gets lost. I mean, you can look at music, you can look at sports, anything. The history gets lost as time goes, because things evolve over time. And as they evolve, the new things that evolve too, or seems like what gets all of the focus. Right, that gets all the focus. So, right, and it's corporate. That's the other thing. When you have corporate in anything, corporate branding, of course, it takes away, because it only focuses on one area. But like I said, go to the website, and we will definitely get into more on this.
Also, on the news, a little bit different, Barbados, we were having luncheon, and we heard of this, yes, and it's been in the news there that Barbados, they found oil off the coast of Barbados. So all I could say is all around the shores of the lower, isn't that called the Eastern Antilles, is rich in oil. So there's a lot of oil, and
there's a lot,
I heard, and a lot of the big conglomerate, the companies are flying down there to get their leases So what I can say is booming to the economy. They're not only going to have tourist trade, which they've been pushing the tourism, but they're going to have rich $100 a barrel to $150 barrel oil.
And you know what?
Going out.
While we're on that subject, before we get into the guest of the show, because we're going to come back to news, but I believe you have an article on some major economic news going on in Trinidad, and that's kind of following what we were just talking about.
Yes, I do have that. What it's saying is that the International Monetary Fund, they reported that Trinidad's economy has performed remarkably strong in performance, that they're over, well, this is what I was told, over 300 million or billion in wealth as far in U.S. dollars.
Yeah, really?
Yes. What is going, yes. The economy performance has been remarkably strong, and also in the last 4 years, it has more than doubled its output as far as in U.S. dollars. It has doubled.
Wow.
So what's going
That's
on
encouraging.
is
That's
what's going on
encouraging.
is down there. Also, there's still consideration of reevaluating the dollar
Okay.
down there because of the economy is so strong.
Wow. So in the news, it seems like all you hear about is the murders and the crime. Not saying that's not going on, but
that is going on.
it
there
is going
too.
on,
It
but
is going on there too, because what's going on there, I'm not going to say it's foreigners, because of the boom in the economy, with all the richness in its oil, the gas, because United States is the largest purchaser. 95% of their gas from Trinidad comes here to United States. 95%. Plus, they are rich in ammonia as well, and they have new factories going up, industrial plants going up. They also have the whole interior and the outskirts of Port of Spain. All right, they're building like crazy, and a lot of the local people do not want to do construction. So they're importing. Remember back when the slaves did not want to do the work and they went to China and India? Well, a lot of Indian immigrants and a lot of Chinese immigrants, Philippine immigrants are coming to the Caribbean, to Trinidad, to build. So they're building, and it's a lot of money exchanging. And now there's a lot of crime going on in the country. So I'm not sure if it's because of related to the boom in the economy, and new people are coming in from all over to work, and also from other islands.
And I just want to throw out real quick, for those of you who are watching us live and not on the web, please feel free to call in. Any questions, comments, or concerns you have, call the 404, you see the number on your screen, at 873-1349. We would love to hear from you.
And also, our guest is here this evening. Remember, I mentioned to you health, preventative health care, and this is our main focus. We definitely want our audience to be very healthy, to live over 100. Okay, and when I mean healthy, I mean without really medication, eating the right foods, organic foods, and learning signs of what's going on with you, spiritually, physically, the whole of you. Well, I have here this evening someone who is going to give us a lot of information on that.
Okay.
His name is Dr. Brandon Evans. He's a graduate of Texas Chiropractic College, just south of Houston, Texas. And now he resides here in Atlanta, Georgia, he and his family. And his office is in Marietta, Georgia. And I'd like to introduce you, Dr. Evans.
Without further ado.
Yes.
Good evening. Pleasure to be here both times.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank
being
you
on
for
with
coming.
us. Now, the first thing I want to ask you is, what is alternative health care?
Well, alternative health care is basically helping the body to heal itself.
Okay.
Not using harmful drugs or invasive surgery as the first choice or the first
Right.
option to take care of some of the problems that are actually very common in our society today. So there's a lot of
mainstream medical society. So alternative healthcare has been coined that way. Alternative healthcare has been coined that way because it's not the majority. It's not the mainstream here in the U.S. And so it's just using natural methods to encourage the body's own power and its own ability to heal itself.
Okay, I think I know the answer to this, but why do you think it's not the main practice or the main deal in the U.S.?
Financial reasons.
Okay, yeah. We're thinking around the same lines.
Okay.
And I'll leave it right there, but it has a lot to do with the capitalism in our society.
Right.
Because if you go outside of the U.S., alternative healthcare is not alternative healthcare.
Right.
More natural methods are healthcare,
Okay.
you know, and then the medicine comes after the natural things were not working.
Okay.
Do you see, a change coming about where more and more people are saying, we want to go back to preventative health care. We want to learn more of how can I prevent something from happening.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. There's definitely a paradigm shift going on. I see it with my patients all the time. I get a lot of patients who have tried the things that we are raised to try. Go to your doctor when you're sick, take the medicine that he recommends for you, and then, you know, deal with whatever is happening.
Right.
But so many people are being fed up and getting frustrated with that mindset, starting to understand that that is not the end all and the be all. That is not helping people to get over major illnesses, diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid, and other types of hormonal problems where people are being told you have to take this drug for the rest of your life, and that's just not the answer anymore. People are starting to understand that there's got to be a better way, and there is.
What I'm very frustrated with is, to me, they treat the symptoms. They don't find out what is really the cause of what's going on with this big change in your body. And to me, that's just pacifying everything. So if you pacify that, to me, it's like when your car is slowly breaking down, you say, well, you know, I'm going to wait. You know, next thing you know, one thing feeds off the other, and everything starts slowly breaking
Sure.
down. And I wish that more doctors, you know, would see it that way, you know, because they're not really helping. I don't feel they're really helping us. They're more so sedating us. They're sedating. I feel they're pacifying and sedating us.
Yeah, a lot of doctors will patch up the problem. You know, it's you had mentioned the car, and you know, in the engine. I liken it to that check engine light coming on, and you can either take it to get serviced, or you can put a piece of tape over top of that light, and you can just forget about it.
Right.
And that's kind of how taking medicine to handle some kind of health issue does the same type of thing. If you don't find the true cause of the problem, the real underlying factor of where the illness or the disease started from, and fix it from that point, anything on top of that is going to always come back and stay as what's known as a chronic health issue, meaning that it's there, you do something to kind of make the symptoms go away, then it seems to come back again, and you play this roller coaster game with your health care, and this can go on for years and years. We all know somebody who's been dealing with something for a long time, and basically what's happening on the inside is that it's killing people slowly, you know, and they take the drugs, and it helps them to feel better for a little while, sometimes, not all the time, and then the issue just keeps popping right back up without any true solution.
Okay. Now you mentioned a lot of the patients that you get are ones that you could say are fed up with the traditional health care. What initially led you to alternative health care versus going the traditional route in the U.S., I would say?
Well, I've always had an interest in natural things, natural healing, and this goes back to when I was in high school. I also have been on the other side, the dark side, I say. I worked in the pharmaceutical industry for about 5 years when I was in undergraduate school. So I did have a chance to see what that was all about, you know, and not to say that drugs aren't needed, because they are needed. There are emergency situations where drugs and surgery have to be entered into someone's situation. But I just think that things like that are abused and they're overutilized, and there are so many disorders that can be handled if we prevented them from coming by eating certain ways, by detoxing, our bodies and taking care of things before the problem ever manifests itself.
Okay. Now, I was going to say, you mentioned some of them already, probably a lot of them, but any that you didn't mention, basically what I'm leading to is well, you can't get into all of them, but what services do you offer in your office?
Well, I'm a doctor of chiropractic, so I handle, your traditional chiropractic problems: back pain, joint pain, headaches, auto accidents, things of that nature. But I also do a lot with clinical nutrition, organic supplements, herbs, allergy problems, hormonal imbalance problems, non-invasive saliva testing, things like that to help and basically just cover all aspects of someone's health care. And I just try to play detective for the most part so that I can pinpoint exactly where somebody's problems are coming from and just say, okay, this is what we need to do in your specific situation, which may be completely different than what we need to do in your specific situation, even if you had the same exact symptoms going on. I don't know if they're coming from the same source until I do my, due diligence as a practitioner to find out where the real problem is arising.
Okay, now I know there's a lot of viewers right now wondering, okay, how can I get in contact with you? But they're afraid to be on air for calling in. So any contact information you give, I guess a website, if you have one, would be the first helpful thing.
Definitely. They can just go to my website. It's www.detoxdoc.com, and that's the letter D, TOXDOC.com.
Okay, and before we leave, we're going to have you mention that again. And also those of you, of course, who are watching us on the website right now, you see right under the video, his website is listed. So you didn't even have to wait for me to answer the question.
Yes. Is there a particular wave of people that come in to see? What are the major complaints you're hearing from people?
I see a lot of complaints with weight issues, and a lot of female patients have weight concerns with body distortion problems. And they've tried the dieting, they've tried the exercising, the things that we hear are the right things to do, and did not get the quote-unquote results that they were looking for, or the right results, or lose the amount of weight that they should. A lot of times I see someone who has dieted and they lose weight for a little while, and then the weight stops at a plateau. They lose the weight, and then they just start to gain it right back for no reason, even though they're doing the same thing. Or the most frustrating is somebody who starts to exercise and they start to gain weight immediately, and they even change their diet. And so what I do is find out, okay, what is going on in the body that would allow that to happen, because it's not always about calories, and it's not always about lack of exercise. A lot of times these people are eating right, they're doing the right things, but there are issues that are in our society in regards to different toxins that are out there. There are toxins in the food that we eat. There are toxins in the air. It could be somewhere, in their personal environment, their house or something like that, that could play tricks on their body's hormonal system and cause it to store fat and store weight in different areas of the body without them even realizing it. And so they're doing all the right things, but they're getting the exact wrong results because of things that are outside of their control, or things that they're unaware of.
So I don't mean to be funny. So do you mean that, say I come to you with this problem, you might tell me you might have to sell your house, pack up and move because your house is making you gain weight?
Well, I've never told anybody to sell their house. I have had people who have had to do some cleaning of their house because of mold in the house and things like that, and we're causing molds.
Mold?
Yes.
Make you gain weight?
Mold not necessarily makes someone gain weight. You brought up the house. I have to tell you, about the mold in the house.
I'm thinking about some people going.
But mold can cause some other issues in regards to allergies and things like that. But most of the time, when I'm dealing with someone who is having difficulty losing weight, it's mostly what's called an environmental toxicity issue. Okay, that's the big word. Yeah.
Yeah, big word for
Okay.
today. Y'all got that right.
I
And
hope
those
that's not
viewers
in
are-
my vocabulary.
Yeah, and that is just a category that talks about the different toxins that are in the food. If you don't go out of your way to eat organic food, you're being exposed to it just because of how food is processed nowadays.
Mm.
So when you go to the supermarket and it says organic,
Hmm.
you have to believe the fact that that is organic, because sometimes I wonder, same thing with water. They
Mhm.
say this is spring water,
Mhm.
and now I'm hearing rumors it's not really. Most of it is not spring water. You have to really read the fine print to
That's
know where your water is coming from.
That's true. If you don't know how to read the label, the pretty pictures and the
Yeah.
marketing would have you to purchase something that may or may not be the best choice.
Mm.
So you bring up water. Purified water is what I always recommend. Not not distilled water.
Mhm.
Not spring water. Spring water can just be almost tap water, for lack of a better term.
Really.
But purified water is going to be your best choice. And like I've mentioned, avoid distilled water. A lot of people think that if you drink distilled water, it's going to be cleaner type of water for you. But over time, distilled water can hurt your body's mineral content. So, in regards to the labeling on the food, if it says organic, then it has to be certified as organic. And if a company is caught doing that, that could mean big trouble for them. The word that gets people is natural.
Oh,
Natural.
Play with that word,
Yeah.
natural, because people might interpret it as being organic.
Correct. Or they think, well, it's natural, it must be good. Well,
Right.
arsenic is natural,
Yeah.
so there are certain terminology on the label that means that if it says it's certified organic or 100% certified organic, then it's pretty safe.
Okay.
Mhm.
I've heard that there are some chemicals and preservatives that they put in our food that if they use a higher dosage, it's actually something like arsenic. It is actually poison. And how do we find out what chemicals is really not good for us? Because there's so much, I can't even pronounce the words on in the list of ingredients. How do we know if this is really good for us or not?
If you can't pronounce it,
Don't eat
It's-
it.
That's a good clue. Huh?
yeah, if you look at the label and their words is just like, what in the world does this say? It's probably not the best thing for you. Another general rule of thumb is to shop on the outside of the supermarket. Don't go up and down the aisles, and you'll stay pretty safe. On the outside are going to be your fruits, your vegetables, your
That's
produce.
interesting. That is correct. Your cheeses, so the stuff in the middle, all those boxes and
Yeah.
cans,
All those
get
boxes.
rid of it.
Yeah, all that processed food, it's not good for you. I think what you're talking about in regards to the poison type of food,
Yeah.
more along the lines of artificial sweeteners. The packaging and again the marketing would have you think that things like Splenda are going to be good for you, much better than using regular sugar.
Yeah.
It's not going from bad to good. It's going from bad to as bad,
Wow.
or even worse, because those artificial sweeteners, the chemical structure, what happens when it gets into your body, it turns into formaldehyde, and formaldehyde is exactly.
Ooh.
So there's of course different levels that you can go to. If you just have to eat sugar, eat organic sugar or eat the raw sugar,
What
the
about
sugar
sugar
cane,
Yeah.
right?
Go to farmer's market and buy some sugar cane. I had that the other day. Boy, it was good. And it's good for your teeth. It's
Yeah,
good
did
for
they
your
give us
gums.
in the sponsorship yet?
Oh, so I shouldn't have called them out, right?
Oh no, that means they have to. We'll bring it up
Yes,
too.
definitely. Okay, that sounds good. So you going there next week to talk to them about that?
Oh yeah, with a copy of the tape.
With a copy of the tape.
And the
All
2 million viewers, the stats of the 2 million viewers that's watching us right now.
Okay, I like that one.
Now, I know you said weight loss is one thing that alternative health can help on, and that's maybe one area that people don't think about. What are some other areas that are good? Well, not a good, but alternative health or alternative medicine can help people with?
Well, I see a lot of cluster of problems.
Okay.
Okay, and so when I say cluster, I mean I may have someone who comes to me Their energy levels are not what they should be during the day. They're not sleeping properly throughout the night. Of course, like I mentioned, weight gain could be a problem. They could have joint pain when they wake up or things like that. They could have digestive issues. Either they are going to the bathroom more than they should,
Okay.
or they're not going to the bathroom as much as they should.
Okay.
Eliminating some of those toxins that are in their systems. So those are the common things, the headaches that people deal with. A lot of times people will take, a Tylenol or pop a pill to get rid of that type of pain, and they adopt that to their lifestyle.
Okay.
And it becomes normal to that person. But those types of things are all clues. Your body is trying to let you know something,
Right.
trying to talk to you. And we have the tendency to just be in a fast-paced
Medicate.
society. We want to take something very quickly and keep going on about our day,
Right.
but that can go on for years. And it's like your body's just slowly saying, please listen to me. I'm trying to tell you that something's wrong. I'm trying to let you know, please get this checked out. Because those clusters a lot of times will go together, and they point to one direction saying, okay, you have a problem with this area of your body, or you have a problem with, this area of your body to be checked out and investigated.
So I want to ask this. You're saying this to me, and I'm thinking, from my experience, we get something as simple as we call a headache.
Right.
So you go to the drugstore, and if you could see, there's tons of things you could take for pain relief.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There's whole
There's
aisle
aisles. I mean, you don't know how to
Yeah.
choose
Mhm.
to take a medication these
Mhm.
days, over-counter medication.
Mhm.
In other words, you say after a while this becomes a routine, so it becomes part of your life, and you're living with it.
Like
so
an addiction.
It's like an addiction, and you don't
Yeah.
realize you have a problem.
Mhm.
So, in other words, do we have to take a step back and take a journal of how our bodies are functioning? Because since we are such in a fast pace, we ignore the signs of what's going on with us. We should really jot things down well. After when you see something happening after like consistently, let's say 2 weeks. Where do you say yes, your body's breaking down? How often is it you're supposed to have a headache before it triggers to say there's something going on inside of me? That's what
Well,
I wanna know.
it really should be to the point where if you were to wake up with a headache, you say, where is that coming from?
Right.
I mean, what is going on? I haven't had a
Okay.
if I were to wake up with a headache, or if I had some joint pain or something like that, it would set off major alarms in my body, because I'm just not used to going through anything like that. So if there's someone who needs to start paying attention, it would be a great idea to just have a little journal, buy the little 97-cent journal, and just
Don't
and
cost
just
much.
and just
No
and just
times are hard, but
right, right, and
He did
just
say 97 cents.
97 cents. I don't know. And just just jot it down, like, okay, today's Tuesday. Okay, I had a headache when I woke up this morning, and then maybe not until a week later or the second week later, and then jot it down again, and then you may notice that it might start happening a couple times a week. So you should pay attention to things as soon as they happen. We all know when something's not right with our body. We all know it, because you know that it's not supposed to be there, but we accept it. And that's the issue. So, if you are going to start this process today, then you just write down today everything that is bothering you, and then look at what you've got on that paper, and then you'll come to grips with some of the things that are on there. And one or two things are going to happen. You're either going to get scared by what's on the paper, and you're going to run from your own body and say, I don't want to deal with this, and you'll go back into the shell, or you'll say, I got to do something about my life, and I got to change these things. They're on this paper.
Because I have someone who's close to me, and she was labeled a hypochondriac. Every time something would happen to her body, zoom, she's right to the doctor. So basically, you're not saying to be like that, but you're just saying to just be aware, slow down, because we work with fast pace. We're very
everything is
fast-paced
fast-paced,
people.
right.
We're fast-paced people. We're not laid-back people anymore. So we have to slow down and take stock of ourselves to know what's going on with ourselves.
Definitely. Yeah, it's more about awareness. Just be aware, know yourself, know your body, And the amazing thing is that when you start to feel good, if you make the changes that occur to feel better, you will know what it's like to feel better. And it's almost like, wow, you didn't even realize how good you are supposed to feel.
Right.
It's like you forget what it feels like to live without pain or without discomfort. And then when it slips back, you'll say, okay, this is obviously not right.
Well, it's kind of different. For instance, here, it seems like I live with allergies. And when I went to visit in the Caribbean, I was like, oh my gosh, I could breathe through my nose. Finally.
Breathe again.
I could breathe again. But here in Georgia, it seems to be a chronic thing, and it keeps happening over and over and over. And it's too often. So is it something, well, I guess it's environmental, but I've been hearing a lot of people that say to me that since they have moved here to Georgia, they have gotten chronic allergies or more allergies, hay fever, whatever it is. And what I would like to say is, how do we change that? What can we do besides just journalizing putting everything on journal? Do we have to be aware of our surroundings, such as, did I go to the park? Did I walk around a moldy area, such as wet leaves? For instance, I found out that pine straw, I can't be around pine straw because of the mold issue in there. And all of a sudden, I now have a slight case of asthma. It would irritate that. And not only just that, if you go within, Georgia is full of pine trees. It's beautiful, full of oak trees. And one thing about Georgia, it's green and it has color and it's beautiful. But does this also inhibit us as people because of all the different types of the change of the weather and the fact that all the things that plants have to go through? Are those things going to irritate us?
Yes, they do. I get very busy around pollen season.
Okay.
Okay, and it's just because your bodies have different types of sensitivity issues, and your immune system, depending on if it's in the prime position when something is going to affect you, is going to mean your resilient ability is going to be high or it's going to be low. Okay, so some people are going to be affected more so than others.
Allergies are an interesting thing because allergies are nothing but extremely common issues that cause problems. Okay? What I mean by that is some people are allergic to pollen. Some people are allergic to different types of detergent for clothes. Some people are allergic to different types of foods. There's nothing poisonous about those things, or else we would all be affected by all of those things, right? And so it's just a matter of your own system turning inward and trying to fight something that it looks at or it thinks that is abnormal. And so, the allergies can definitely cause a lot of issues and cause a lot of problems.
Okay. Actually, I just want to take a quick break on this for a minute because we're going to do the whole program on this. We only plan to do half of it, but I just want to, again, reiterate for those of you who are just joining us, we have Dr. Brandon Evans, who specializes in alternative health. He's a chiropractor with us today. And if you miss any part of this program, go to our website, myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report to see a replay of it. Those of you watching us live, it will be on the following Tuesday, next Tuesday. So again, not only will you see this show, but you will see, I believe we're up to 15 or 16 past episodes also on the website. Also on the site, you're able to contact us, and you're able to see news sources from our show, and you're able to see things like resumes of our guests. And last week, I mentioned this last week, but I want to say it again, we put up the video, or the link to the video, of the UN's massacre on Haiti. Please click on that link. This is something you will not see on any of the major news sources. So I just want to throw that out. I'll get back to more of the news later on in this program. But now let's continue on with Dr. Evans.
Yes, Dr. Evans, I mean, you have a lot of great information to share with us as well as, well, our viewers here. And what can you recommend that we do besides keeping a journal? What else can you recommend to us?
Well, you can also take notes, you know, just mentally of if something new happens tomorrow. Let's say someone wakes up tomorrow morning and they feel a little bit funny, or they don't feel, you know, like they did today, okay?
Right.
They notice something's not right. Just do little tricks such as, well, what did I eat yesterday? And then, you know, just something as simple as that could help you to understand why you may feel a certain way, you know, when something's not right. And a lot of times it starts with the food that we eat. Maybe someone goes out someplace tonight to a restaurant with friends or something like that, and they may eat something that they don't usually eat in their diet or in their normal routine that their body just didn't, you know, go well with. And so things like that are always good. Like I said, the journal. Of course, someone can immediately just start to do things to increase their physical situation, like exercise and getting up. And it doesn't have to be this strenuous, hardcore type of exercise. You know, just walking 15 minutes, 20 minutes is the perfect way to start. You know, standing up while you watch TV on the commercials. I mean, it could be almost anything really. Just move around more, because we have become so sedentary in our lifestyles. You know, we sit down at work. We drive in the car, we're sitting down, we go home, you sit down to eat, and then you lay down, you know, after you sit down watching TV.
Well, I can vouch for that. Living in a more metropolitan environment, you tend to walk more. You tend to do more sightseeing. You're not jumping in and out of a vehicle, really. And going to the Caribbean is basically the same thing too, because I guess it's warmer, okay, and you have that athletic. You're always very athletic. You're doing something. You're keeping active. You're less inside the house and hibernating, you know, being that couch potato. But another thing that is inhibiting us is really not saying, I mean, we want you to watch us and have fun and enjoy us, but that a lot of people are hooked to the television.
Or they can stand up
Okay.
doing it. They can walk standing up.
Oh, you know what I did? I put my bicycle
Right
at
in
my
front of the
station
TV,
right in
that's
front of the TV, and I'm there, and I am going to lose weight, okay, and I'm not moving out of my house, okay, and I am just doing my exercises, and that's something, you know, and I feel much better doing that, you know. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing something positive. And when you do those type of things, yes, you do feel it gives you a natural high.
That's true.
It does give you this natural high, and I like that feeling, you know, getting that little natural high, and I reward myself, and I have a raisin or two. And I heard raisins are very good for you.
Raisins are good for you. There's a lot of foods that are good for your body. But you touched on something that I want to back up with you saying that the natural high from exercise.
Okay, we back it up now. We back it up.
Your body does release endorphins when you exercise, and exercise is a great way to counteract the hormones that get released when people are stressed. Which, if you live in, you know, anywhere fast-paced, you know, your stress levels are going to be increased. If you got a job, family, finances, you know, there are a lot of things that can cause stress for a lot of people. And when you get stressed, it causes these two itty-bitty glands that you have in your body called your adrenal glands to keep working. They are your fight or flight glands. That's what, you know, if we heard a loud crash someplace, everybody would, you know, wake up and say, okay, what's going on? And we'd be ready to either deal with the danger or get away from the danger.
Run.
Right? Exactly.
Why do you think in our body we don't do that? Like you mentioned earlier, we get these signs telling us that something is wrong, but it's like we just ignore them. Or we may address them for a second and be like, okay, I'll deal with it. Or okay, it'll go away.
Because I think we are okay, I'm sorry, I'm doing that, but I think we are so trained to ignore ourselves. We don't really, I think, spoil ourselves in that way until we go on vacation. You know, where we're more relaxed and we pay attention and we get more in tune to our bodies, because I think we're so much on a fast pace, we forget. At least I know I forget about certain things like that. And I'm making a conscious effort more than ever to pay attention to signs, because I'm seeing all kinds of signs. Ooh, and it's scary, you know, so we have to definitely pay attention, take time for ourselves. Now, I don't know if that's his answer, but that's my answer. Sorry.
Well,
No, this is like a panel.
That's my answer.
my answer is very similar. It's almost like we don't have time to be sick. So,
Yeah.
you know, why even give a thought to it? If I'm not bleeding and something's not falling off and I can keep on going, then I'm going to keep on going and I'm going to put it into the back of my head. If it's
Right.
not killing me, you know, let's just go ahead and deal with it. But that all goes back to it being that chronic problem, because if you deal with it today, you're going to deal with it in 3 months. It's going to be there for a year, and then the next year, and then finally it's going to be like it comes out of nowhere. You know, it's going to come out of nowhere, and it's really going to shut you down. And then people will say, "Wow, we didn't even know, you know, he was sick, or we didn't even know that she had that kind of issue." But by the time that you are ready to deal with it, it has progressed so far that now we've really got a health problem, you know.
I mean, how many people do we run into at work saying, "Oh, I shouldn't have come today. I don't feel well, but I had to finish this. I had to turn
That's
this
true.
in. I had to be in
That's
this
true.
meeting. I had to do X,
We
Y,
have
Z."
deadlines. We all
I mean,
accumulate.
nothing is more important than your health.
That's right.
I mean, because if you're not here, you can't do it anyway. If you're
That's
sitting in the
true.
hospital, you can't do it.
That's true. That's true.
Another thing that I'm seeing and is concerning me, and I don't know if it's really a health issue, but our children, their lack of concentration, even sometimes adults, our concentration level is not where it used to be. I know that not we, but we live in a technical, mechanical society where we're running ourselves like computers. And we think our memory is supposed to be like that, and we're supposed to have all of this. I know that they said we only use a small portion of our brains. You know, we have not explored it to the full capacity. But what I'm seeing is people and children are not concentrating or focusing as much as they should, and it's really affecting their children, their schoolwork, because it was said that in United States, right now they're blaming it on teachers, but they're saying that United States, the children is not up to par educationally as far as everybody else in the world, that we are rated low as far as elementary school level. They finally admitted to that. And it's getting worse. Now, what is it that's so different here in the United States that it's abroad? Is it that we take our health care is in a shambles here in the United States, but also our eating habits are crazy. It's not how it really should be. So do you think that's a part of it? The chemicals, all the fast food, all the craziness that we do and we put in our bodies is helping us to lose our minds?
I think that issue, we could probably do a whole entire show
Seems like a bunch of
Okay.
series.
on that topic, because it goes past some of the things that you mentioned, and it goes past just the kids not being healthy, you know, because now we're talking about things like gym class and recess and activities being taken away.
Yes, they're taking away that. They have taken some of that away.
And they take those things away because the teachers are being forced to make sure kids pass more standardized tests so that the schools can get more funding and things like that. And so we're talking about the lunches that they are served not being the best types of food.
Right.
Ooh.
We're talking about
Vending machines.
Vending machines.
And so they're being pumped with all this sugar.
Right.
And sugar is a drug, just like nicotine is a drug, just like cocaine is a drug.
Right.
You know, sugar is a drug too. It's got addictive powers. It causes chemical imbalances in the body, and it has the same reactions. It's just legalized, and it doesn't, you know, cause the same type of problems as an illegal street drug would, but it still causes issues mentally.
I know this is, I'm sorry, probably out of your realm, and I guess we have to invite Board of Education panel here. Don't they have a school nutritionist on board to know how, what type of foods to feed these children, that they shouldn't have a vending machine filled with soda and candy and all that stuff there for them to eat. I mean, don't they have that?
I'm sure that they do. You know, my kids are younger than 3 years old, so they don't. They're not.
I just want to say it goes deeper than that, though. Even with nutritionists, you have a lot of going back to the capitalism. You have contracts with these companies. You have, you know what I'm saying? These are different.
They
a lot
pay
of
them to
financial,
have that in there.
I guess you could say issues that plays part into that.
Well, we have to really. I mean, let's put it this way: if we are medicating and making our children incompetent to the point that when it comes, will they ever graduate high school?
That's the question.
Who is going to be our future? Who is going to run the country? Okay, because if everybody across the board, okay, and it's also in the low economic, okay, also in the wealthy areas. So it crosses all boundaries. Now, what are we going to do? Okay, we're killing our society. We're killing our people. You know.
It has to start with us. It has to start with the parents. You know, because we are ultimately the ones that make the choice for what the kid is going to do and what they're going to eat. You know, in regards to that. And so if they see the parents stopping at McDonald's to feed the family, then that's what they're going to want. That's what they're going to request. And of course, I mean, what kid is not going to want McDonald's? It looks so great. I mean, the arches and all that kind of
walking of it. I mean, it just.
But when you were a little kid, didn't you like McDonald's? Yeah, you thought it was a treat when you were going to McDonald's on a Friday. Yeah. At least I did when I was little.
McDonald's an everyday thing.
Yeah, but true. Right now, yes, but
go ahead.
But I'm spoiled with home cooked food.
Oh, that's always the best.
I'm spoiled with home cooked food.
In general, I mean, you look at the line,
I'm spoiled.
And it goes back to, like you mentioned, with the fast-paced life and everything. I mean, it all boils down to something that has to change.
But some fast food chains are recognizing this issue, and they're trying to cook more healthier or have healthier products out there, because they do recognize we have a problem, you know. But fast food is fast food too. You know, it's only so much, you know, that I feel that they can do.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
And let's get your website again, because I mentioned I wanted you to repeat that, and I know we're coming close to the end of time in the last 5 or 6 minutes. So for the audience that just tuned in to us or who hasn't gotten it before, if you can just repeat your website so they can contact you.
Sure, it's www.detoxdoc.com.
Okay.
So that's www.toxdoc.com.
Is there a phone number to your office that you would like to share?
They could reach me at 678-852-3728.
Okay, we have the website up on the screen, so viewers, we will keep it up there or show it as much as possible for the remainder of this program.
All right.
Now and it just slipped my mind.
Okay,
now. Well, until it comes back to our mind, again, go to our site at myspace.com.
And what I would like to say.
Oh, I thought you were going to finish it for me. / Caribbean Report.
Oh, well, I had a little one, too. I forgot. I didn't know where he was at. Okay, so I guess we need some detox. We need some detox. Now, what's going on in the Caribbean? Did you have any family members heading down there for the carnival season?
Not the Trinidad. As I mentioned, all the events in Montserrat happen during the Christmas season. But not going down to Trinidad or into any of the other islands. But I believe you do, and we almost, if I'm not wrong, we almost lost you tonight.
Yes. But you know what? I said I couldn't do that to you, you know, so I decided to stay. I decided to stay because I would have had too much fun, and it would have been written all over my face. I probably wouldn't want to come back because when I go to Trinidad, I never want to come. I don't like coming back. You know, and because as soon as I get there, I can breathe. See, right now, I sound nasal. I can't breathe. And when I get done, they say, oh, my gosh, this is what the air really, it goes through my nostrils, and it feels good. You know, all it does now is go down my throat. It's hard to really speak when you're always congested like this. So, yeah, definitely. So, but also, something else I would like to promote that I just started doing, juicing. Yeah, that juicing. You got to juice those fruits. Even when those fruits look ugly and you don't want to eat it, blend it up. Let me tell you, my bananas, I don't like my bananas when it has those little brown dots on it. I hate it. So what I started doing is making banana nut bread. Ooh, it tastes real good. I'm a good cook, okay? and also I make banana juice, and I put some flaxseed in there. Is flaxseed good for you?
Excellent for you.
What does it do to you?
Flaxseed is great for your heart. It's excellent source of omega vitamins, and it's really good for you.
Okay, well, I didn't know what I was doing. I made a concoction, and it tastes really good.
Okay, and just real quick, the reason we can't do that in here because the rules are against it, where we can't have foods or drink in here. But I know we're in on last minute, so again, for a recap, we come on every Friday night, People TV Atlanta, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. If you can't catch us live, you can catch us on the website at myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report. And would you like to recap our guest that was here today?
Oh, yes, Dr. Evans. It's a pleasure you being here. And is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience before we tell them have a great weekend?
In 20 seconds.
Just be careful and take care of yourself. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email, visit the website, and I will respond.
All right, thank you for watching us, and good night. Again,
myspace.com/Atlanta Caribbean Report.
You might as well
Telling
go
you,
now.
telling
The show
you,
going
see
on.
ya.